Hi guys, your favourite armoured penguin. You join me here today with a big bottle of whiskey. So we're going to get on with the Flat Earth Misconceptions Part 5, and we are talking about central authorities. So we briefly touched on a term that the Flat Earthers use, the Church of Scientism, in the last video. And what we're going to do today is we're going to expand on that, and we're going to look at their obsession with such scientific personalities as Neil deGrasse Tyson or Bill Nye. Allegedly, Dave Murphy famously addressed Tyson in his open letter, for instance. And these appeals to an authority are a complete waste of time. Except for his specialisation, and that he is currently working in his field, there's no difference between calling upon Neil deGrasse Tyson, Dara Breen, or the local physics lecturer at your local university. In fact, you're more likely to get an answer from your local physics lecturer. And this is because, contrary to what a lot of people believe, what a lot of flat earthers believe, science isn't run by the Jesuits. It's not run by the Jews. It's not run by the Illuminati or the Freemasons or NASA. There is no scientific authority. Now, I've heard claims for everything from the recurrence of the numbers of 66 and 33 in science, showing that it's satanic Freemason conspiracy, to the Royal Institution being London's science equivalent to the Vatican. I mean, the Royal Institution was originally created as a way for the scientifically minded to put their heads together and come up with some practical applications for the science, and to help fund new discoveries. For instance, Michael Faraday actually introduced the Christmas lecturers, where members of the public could walk in and learn a new subject, taught by a leading lecturer in that field. Now, these lectures are aimed at children and laymen, and explain quite complex subjects simply. I actually try and catch the Christmas lectures as often as possible, because they are still performed today. Likewise, other science-based organisations, like the Nobel Committee, exist only to encourage people into thinking critically, and finding new ways to use existing knowledge, or even discovering new things, like the Longitude Prize. Now, interestingly, the Longitude Prize was originally given to someone whose work wouldn't be possible on a flat Earth. And, don't worry, I will explain why. And why the lack of a central authority favoured the accepted winner. Now, back in the 17th century, a massive problem stymied exploration and cartography. Despite America having been discovered sometime hence, cartographers were unable to actually pinpoint where America is on the globe. This made sailing to America a case of aiming your ship roughly in the right direction and hoping you get there. Now, when you add to this that sailors never knew their own longitude, or even the longitude of the American town they were aiming for, this kind of dead reckoning led to many shipwrecks and lost lives, lots of lost lives. And the longitude problem was so big that every major European power was trying to solve it, and rather large prizes of money were being handed out to anyone who could get longitude to within a degree, and a bigger prize the more accurate you are. With such large cash prizes on offer, a large number of people applied to solve the problem, with everything from pendulums and I hope I don't need to explain how these fail when you're on a ship, to trying to measure the parallax of the moon, with some being more successful than others, and the Board of Longitude gave away over £100,000 in the 100 years they existed. Now, the equivalent of that in today's money would be more than £13 million. To put that into dollars, that's approaching $20 million. So enter John Harrison, a clockmaker, a carpenter from Yorkshire. A very skilled clockmaker, Harrison had perfected lubricant-free wooden clock mechanisms, and was the first to alternate between iron and brass on a pendulum clock so that the expansion and contraction of the materials caused by heat cancelled each other out. Now, it was known that, what with the world being a sphere, if you measured the elevation of the sun and compared it to the time, and that time had to be accurate, very accurate, what with 4 minutes putting your longitude out by a whole degree, you could get your longitude. The problem is that spring-driven watches weren't accurate, and pendulum clocks stopped working on ships. Add to that the high salt content in the air would corrode metal, and the damp would destroy wood. Even if you managed to avoid both of these cases, then changes in temperatures would mess with your accuracy. So you needed a clock that could keep more accurate than 2 minutes over the time taken to cross the Atlantic. So, after years and years of applying himself to the issue, he solved it, in spite of even Isaac Newton saying that it couldn't be done. He made a marine clock so accurate that it could nail down the ship's longitude more accurately than to the degree. The total of longitude prize money awarded to Harrison was well over £20,000. A little-known clockmaker from Yorkshire. Someone not part of the scientific community. And he was introduced to notable people at the time, such as Edmund Halley. And he certainly wasn't part of the Freemasons, or NASA, or the Royal Institution. Alright guys, well, thanks again for listening, and if you find what I say fascinating, please like, subscribe, and share around. And if you have anything you want to ask me, or any points you want to put across, leave them below in the comments. Cheers.
Push the tempo, 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 push the tempo.